Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Lex.
Kris.
Brigg.
And I don't know who's Penn Teller or Copperfield, but anywho.
We channel them all.
Yeah, sure we do. With that, we're going to just jump into it. We're going to start with some GPOs. Kris is going to go sit back and enjoy his beverage, and Brigg and I are going to jump into GPOs. So,
Hi, Kris.
Again, when removing Windows apps, we're talking Windows Store and that kind of thing, GPOs seem to be one of the best ways to go about it. So
yes,
we talked about it last week. We're going to show it this week instead of talk about it. So let's go, Brigg.
All right. So here we have, okay, and for those of you out there, we've got some bonus content, and I go over all of basically everything that we're going to be doing here in the GPOs. So if you want to just grab that.
You can read along with us in your books.
With that. Yes. Yep, and if you want to look at it later, but we're just basically going to show you how this works. So what I've done here is I've created 4 GPOs. Only 3 of them are actually what we're going to do with the app X packages and the advertising. Background is just changing the background. This is basically just a test that we want to do, but there's the Consumer X, that's the big one that does everything on the computer side.
Okay, so you've got this set. Let's open it up so they can see it.
All right. Oh, they already saw it last week.
They saw it last week?
They saw it last week.
So my problem with GPOs, Brigg, is actually finding them, finding the exact right spot to put it in.
Okay.
So take us where you go for this.
All right, so what I've done is I've created an organizational unit within this Windows 10, within another organizational unit, and I've applied all of those to that particular thing. And what I'll do is I'll put users and computers both in that organizational unit. That way user settings and computer settings will apply equally to those. And
okay, so we go into our domain, we go under web computers. Yep. This is where we're going to apply it. Yep. So from here.
Yep. So here, these are, so we've got web computers, Windows 10, Consumer X, and in that's where we've placed all of our GPOs.
So this would be basically, if they want to do it all their computers, this is where they pick it in Active Directory?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, and they can change that around wherever you want. And then only those GPOs will apply there. So that's what makes it so nice about being able to apply this to a particular organizational unit. And then you can, of course, any sub-OU also will get those GPOs. So
we're doing this to the lab because, I want to be able to go load Candy Crush on my machine later. So,
yes. All right. All right, so to just kind of show you what this looks like on the Active Directory. So I'm in ADUC right now, and I'm showing the Consumer X, and I've got 2 machines in there. I've got Makers and then Enterprise 03. So I've got those 2 machines in there. So now if we look at some of these, this here is, I believe...
Which machine is that?
It's the infamous 172.16, etc.
Oh, that's right. They don't work on this one. So, but I believe that this one is, I can tell you exactly what it is. Yeah. So this is the one that is not in that OU right now. Because as you can see, Candy Crush, I've got Candy Crush Saga, I've got Caesar slots. So this particular user here has all of the bad things. They have decided to go ahead and not do any work ever.
What's the host name of this machine, just so I can keep track of what's going on?
The host name of this machine? Yep. This is Jack.
Okay, this is Jack. All right.
Yep. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and... Now that's a per user setting on the start menu. Okay. And this is what we went over last week. So we did the whole start layout. And I'm going to kind of show you how that goes with this here. So I've got this very minimalist start layout here. I've already configured this. Obviously, there's the Candy Crush or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead.
Okay, keep me informed, man. Which machine is the one with the tent now?
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
This one here? Oh, this one is the. This is one that's not in that.
We were on Jack, and now we're on a.
Now we're on a totally different machine.
All right.
Yep. So I just kind of want to show you what I've done is I've logged in as a user. Just a basic user. You don't want to log in as admin because you'll get some of the apps that come through for the admin. And if you try and configure it for that, they'll just be blank spots on your normal user. So you want to be kind of careful with that. Basically, all you do, just open up a PowerShell prompt. And you export start layout. And then you just give the title of whatever it is that you want it to call. In this case, start layout.
I like that name. It's easy to figure out what that is.
XML, and it exports that. Now, if we go to Morty's here, old-fashioned navigation here. We'll see start layout here, and this is what that looks like.
Okay.
So then you throw that into a GPO, and again, the instructions are in that bonus content on how to do this.
So this is going to set the start menu if I use this now.
Yep.
So okay.
So what I've done is I've exported this.
Okay.
So I've exported exactly what this looks like right here. And then I've gone ahead and put that into my GPO, which is over here. In the consumer startup layout here.
Okay.
And we can just look at those settings. It's really brief.
Excellent.
And there we go. So I've placed that in a share, and that's basically just says go ahead and do all of the.
Okay, so once again, policies, administrative templates, policy definitions, ADMX files. Again, I have the hardest time finding this. So
Yes. So in most, everything's pretty much basically for all of this is going to be administrative templates. Okay. And then there's going to be user, and this you can also set this on the computer side as well, but I recommend obviously doing it on the user because you have a lot more control. But you can do it on the computer side as well.
And that's where you put start layout in.
Yep.
Do we have a question, guys?
Yeah.
No? All right. Rolling along.
Super duper. All right. So
if you could force this policy right now, it would.
Yeah. So right now this is Morty, and Morty has all of the things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put Morty into that particular OU. So users, and we're just going to move Morty.
Morty Cottlebottom. Did you come up with that?
I sure did. Morty's great.
I just want to know what mentally was going on when you came up with that name, man. Is that a reference to something? Or
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah, this is strange.
It's a great name. It's a talking thing.
Jane Rubinowitz.
Rubinowitz, yeah. Nigel
Rubinowitz. Rubinowitz. Okay. So, okay.
All right. So now we've got Morty in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and we're going to sign him out. And sometimes this takes a reboot. So the thing about GPOs is, if you've had any experience with them at all, is that sometimes they apply, sometimes they don't apply. Sometimes they apply after 50 minutes, 2 hours, sometimes overnight, sometimes after a reboot, sometimes after 2 reboots, sometimes after 3 reboots. So basically what it is it's like baking. You just really don't know. It varies on the oven, it varies on all kinds of different things, but eventually you can...
Eventually you end up with cake.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Chris is over there, high altitude, it takes longer.
So basically, just bake until warm and bubbly.
Bake until... Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's right.
Password 1? Is that the password?
All right. This is the machine, right? I don't know. There's just numbers now. All right. Oh, they're still there. Okay.
So apparently we need a reboot on this guy? Again, it's the shake and bake method here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, while that's rebooting, should we take a question?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
We have a question from Johnny D. Are these templates only available on Windows 10 Enterprise?
Some of them, yes. So the really fancy ones are only for Windows 10 Enterprise. Yeah, and education. And I think LTSB. LTSB probably.
I'm going to defer to the experts.
Because that's their kiosk mode. But definitely, the Windows 10 Enterprise and education. So, yeah.
All right. Nice picture, John. Love the beard.
Yes.
Okay.
And then in that bonus content, by the way, I also outlined which GPOs are specific to enterprise and education SKUs. The start menu layout is available for that. And you can actually start doing some taskbar stuff in 1607 now with enterprise. Yep. Nice. Not full control, but still a little bit more than what you could, which was no control before.
Okay, so we can let that reboot. Should we show another GPO?
Yeah.
While it's rebooting?
Okay, so, all right.
So that's your start menu.
Yep.
I want to get rid of the Windows Store, man. I swear, I just want to get rid of that.
Okay, well, as you'll notice here, the store is actually gone.
It isn't? Okay.
Because this particular machine, what we've done is we've moved that into that OU, so the store is gone. But none of the user settings have changed because we haven't actually done anything with that.
Okay, now, when you say the store is gone, I just don't have access to it, it has been removed.
No, we don't remove the store. You never want to remove the store.
Why don't we remove it?
Because once you remove the store, getting it back requires almost a reinstall.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it doesn't require
so
a reinstall.
We're just disabling it, making it invisible.
Yeah.
Invisible. New word, guys.
Yes.
Invisible.
Not invisible.
Yes. So, definitely do not remove the store. You can keep it, you can disable it, and I'm going to show you what you can do.
And unvisible
actually,
it.
I think this one here. Oh, yep. Nice. The store app is blocked. So I can't even go get Candy Crush. I'm sorry.
Dang it, no Candy Crush on my machine?
Yeah, no more.
All right.
Yep. So
can we customize that text to say the store app is unvisible?
It's unvisible. There we go.
Perfect.
Let's proliferate my illiteracy.
Unvisible. All right.
Totally unvisible.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see if that's back up now.
Password 1.
Password 1, 2, 3. Oh.
They're just all dots.
Dots, dot, 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 dotty dot.
I'm a terrible typist, by the way, just letting you know.
Yeah, someone else who types like this.
Yep,
just
exactly. Oh, look at all the things applied. So now
Okay.
we've got our background.
All right.
And for those of you...
devil guy there.
Well, not really.
Evil Firefox?
Nope, not Firefox.
Okay, what is it?
Nope. This is kind of... does anybody out there in the listening, viewing audience know what this refers to?
The Matrix? It's in
Nope.
The Matrix.
See?
I don't know.
It worked well.
Yeah, it worked really
Part
well.
of it. Part of it worked.
Again, so this goes back to my GPO thing. You want to definitely make sure that you reboot. If it doesn't apply, reboot it again. If it doesn't apply. So we tested
Can we
this
do
last time.
can we force the GPO? Does that help?
Yeah, we can do it.
I mean, that's instantly. I like to. It's like pseudo GPO something.
Doesn't hurt.
From
That's all
Linux
I don't
days.
I mean, because we know that some of them are applying because we got the background.
Yeah.
Oh. Steven got it.
Did he?
Yeah, FreeBSD.
Freebie. Oh, okay. I should know that. It's a Linux guy.
I know. You should. Because Linux is like the best
It
of Windows
rules.
and the worst of Unix all in one operating system. Oh, was that my loud voice? I'm
Oh
sorry.
my goodness. You gonna meet me at the flagpole after?
Yeah,
All right?
yeah,
Okay,
you
all
bet.
right. Okay, so
I'm going to chill on you.
So we're forcing the policy. So this will apply all of them.
Yeah.
All the ones you've done. So
Yep. So yeah, you can do this. And of course, obviously you can do this because we have tools that you can do this with inventory, but we're
Push
gonna
out,
run a little bit
deploy
short
it?
on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can deploy
Okay.
it. Yeah, so there's various ways that you can do this, but we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. Now
Gonna
we're
reboot again?
This again. Yep.
All right. Since we're rebooting, we got another question, or we want to go through another GPO? All right.
Okay, so let's go over here. So this is, oops. Not
Let's talk about the. Can you show me? I actually want to see what the store GPO looks like.
Oh, it's store GPO?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we see no store.
Okay.
Here we see that we have a store and we have Cortana and everything like that. So what
Okay.
I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one, which is, and because I'm bad with names and everything like that, that's why I have the DHCP up. There we go, Enterprise 02.
Enterprise 02.
So I'm going to move that one.
But I actually want to see what you set in the GPO.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want because, like I said, I
Okay.
can never find stuff. I want to see where you go to find it,
All right, so let's
or
go
where
over
you set
there.
it. So
So the consumer experience here. So we can actually hide this part. This is just the privacy stuff.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and hide that one.
policies, administrative templates, like you said. Then I just see that and I'm like, I want to be reading all day. Where do I put it?
Oh, no. So these are basically just the policies, the accounts, allow
Okay.
telemetry, everything like that. And
The
then I
actual
think the
setting is-
store, is it in users? No, it's not Spotlight. It's there. See, I'm like you. I'm like, I don't know.
It's in here somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Security in it? No.
No. Maps, OneDrive. Oh, OneDrive. Yes, eliminate OneDrive.
Evil.
Yep.
All right.
Search, eliminate Cortana, web search, store right here.
There it is,
Turn
okay.
off automatic download and install of updates. Turn off the offered update to the latest version of Windows and turn off the store application.
Okay, so
this-
you're
this
enabling
setting
the
here.
turn off. It's that word
Yep.
thing you guys talked about last week.
So, yes. Yeah, the
It's like
enabling the disable.
it's
Yeah.
like unvisibling it only.
So in logic class, we
Yeah.
had to use a lot of double negatives
Okay.
to kind of prove a positive. Anyway, it's sort of like
Same
that.
thing.
But
Okay.
yeah, so that's the setting there. And again, this is all outlined, bonus content. Read it.
Yeah,
It's
grab it
good
from
stuff.
there.
And then I'm going to update that as well with like screenshots so that we have explanations on all of this. So that's that. Now let's go back and let's see if it applied again. All right, Morty.
Game on. I'm drinking if it works. I'm drinking if it's not.
Yeah,
working.
I'm
So
drinking if it doesn't work too.
What if it's somewhere in between?
Then I have to drink a lot.
Well, this is sort of somewhere in between. See, and we're still getting the store out.
We got the
which
store?
I should not be doing.
All right.
Yep.
Anywho, reboot again.
Oh yeah, reboot again.
So I can still, at this point, I can still load Candy Crush.
Yes.
And Caesar slots.
Let me just double check
Caesar
here.
slots.
I mean, we could run GPU result on
already
this as
running.
well. Do some troubleshooting.
So, okay, what would you do at this point? Troubleshoot it?
yeah.
would
So
be-
if this doesn't work after the third one, what I'd normally do, and we're kind of short on time, but what I would do is I would run GPU result /h GPU result.html. Look at the HTML file, see what's applying, see what's denied.
Would PowerShell work?
Could you?
Yes,
you,
PowerShell would work,
Maybe
How
we
would you-
can. Maybe
but
we can.
not as well.
How would you run that? I mean, just show. Just let's like.
Oh, okay.
If it's a quick enough thing, just pop it up because this is going to happen. Like you said, sometimes at work it's like baking a cake, right? So
Yeah.
So we want to see.
All right. Oh, the Windows key doesn't work.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
it doesn't work.
All right. So I'm just going to,
So at this point, you'd be.
and then just a GP result /h, and then a GP result.html.
Okay, so that's just going to make an HTML page.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to go on the desktop here.
Let's take a question while this is producing itself. Here.
Dear Lex and Brigg, do these GPOs stop future apps from reinstalling? I removed built-in apps from all users via PowerShell, but after updates, Candy Crush, Xbox Store, OneNote have all come back. Sincerely, Jorlando D.
Come here, Kris.
Come here, Kris.
Kris is on the scene.
Yeah, so once upon a
Step
time,
inside
this is
here,
a big
buddy.
deal until the creators update comes out.
Yes.
Which should be coming out this next month. But essentially, we have, and I'll get to this in a second with PowerShell, there's uninstalling the apps, and then there's uninstalling the provisioned apps. The provisioned apps is kind of the template for the machine saying any new user that gets on, have these apps. But up until the creators update, what happened is if you uninstall it for a user, if it still had the provisioned package, when there was an update to that version, that would get reinstalled. So that was it.
So you're going to actually cover that in a minute?
I'm going to be covering uninstalling and removing the provision packages.
All right.
And a really important distinction here is that PowerShell is great for removing the apps. GPOs not so much for removing the apps. They're basically GPOs are there for as a preventative measure to prevent future app installation. But PowerShell is the method that you want to use to remove them and get rid of them on a permanent basis. All right, I'm running short on time.
All right, let's jump in on this and then
GP results. Show all, and then we can see.
So this is where you go through and find out if it actually applied.
And you can see at this. Oh, we have to run this as administrator. I run this as Morty.
Oh,
I'm so bad. So if you get something like this, just keep in mind that that's probably because you don't have
administrative rights. So run it as administrator.
So run it as administrator.
All right.
But we're running short on time. I think we're good. Are we good?
Yeah. Any other questions on GPOs
Before we go?
All right. Well, let's hit the transition question. And Brigg, Skull, baby.
Cheers.
And we have a transition question. Touches both PowerShell and GPO from Doug K. How can I turn off all the tracking settings, PowerShell or GPO in Windows 10?
Yes.
Hi, Doug. Yeah, both.
Hi, Doug.
Yes.
GPO's preferred, though.
Yep. Yeah, GPO. If you go to that again, the bonus content, I've said that like.
Which is really big of Kris to say.
Yeah, it is.
You can manage via PowerShell.
Yes.
You can do everything. Group Policy
You
and
open the floodgate, man. You just should have let him roll with it.
Well, no, I think PowerShell and GPOs are a great partnership.
They are
But
wonderful partnership.
you can GPO.
Don't
a
forget
lot of the
that.
privacy stuff.
Don't forget to add the qualifier that this is all, when you use all. We're talking enterprise and education.
Yeah, enterprise and
Okay,
education.
I'm sorry, pro and home. No, they ain't gonna happen.
None so much, guys. Yeah.
And I've delineated, like if it's only for enterprise and education, I've said that only the setting applies. Otherwise, it'll apply to all versions. All right.
Hey, if you guys have any other questions, again, hit support, Brigg. All of us will help you out. So, thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Rick. I might laugh.
All right, so time out here. You just said I'd rather GPO is a better thing than a PowerShell for this.
The right tool for the right circumstance. Right?
Okay, all right.
So GPOs are kind of enforced really well. PowerShell's kind of the one-off. I mean, they're all set in the registry, so you can set them via PowerShell. You can throw up a schedule in PDQ Deploy if you wanted to. But GPOs are made for a reason, and they do a really good job of what they do. That's why there's PowerShell tools to configure them and deploy them and create them and all the fun stuff. So,
All right. So jumping into PowerShell.
absolutely.
So where are we headed, man?
Okay, so we just, that was a good question earlier, though, because I do want to show exactly how to uninstall all the things. So here we have Fry. Fry is my machine. He's my Windows 10 machine. On this guy, we have some Windows Store apps that we want to uninstall. You can always tell a Windows Store app if when you're typing or you see in this list and it says, well, I'll show you. We type Xbox and it says Trusted Windows Store App. That actually means it's through the Windows Store and has its appropriate licensing and everything done, and it's here. And this happens to be one of the default ones. So I'm going to take some of these apps that we see here, such as Xbox or People or Movies and TV, and we're going to remove them because why do we need them? We don't.
Don't mess with Candy Crush, though.
Well, we're going to destroy that. That surprisingly is not even an installed app. That's
really?
actually called a consumer feature, which we
Okay.
covered in our last webcast, which you have to actually uninstall that to remove those because it's not technically installed. It's a delayed install of some sort. Anyway, so here we have Fry. We're going to switch back over to our main guy over here, our deploy console, and I've added all these packages in the bonus content so you can actually follow along, but I've broken them down so you can actually see us deploying all these to see on Fry. So in this case, I want to see all packages that exist on Fry. We'll pop this open. You can take a look. I'm just getting everything.
So it's a PowerShell command there?
This is a PowerShell command using a PowerShell step. So if I deploy this to Fry, we will get a list of all the packages, and we can kind of pick and choose what we want to remove. So
Well, let's take a question. Well, that's running, man.
Sweet.
Dear Lex and Kris, can you use PowerShell to remove all store apps and then restrict future installations? Sincerely, Dan.
Hi, Dan. The S is silent.
Silent S.
It doesn't sound silent.
So that's actually what we're getting to right here, is removing all the store apps. And let me actually qualify a little bit. Not all of them. Some of the apps that are built in don't remove. You're going to have to Google it and take a look at it, but just for example, you cannot remove Cortana, you cannot remove Edge, at least in the latest versions of 10. You could in earlier ones, which made things blow up. Don't remove the store, even though you can. It's kind of interesting. But
Bad things happen.
Bad things happen. There's core apps that you don't want to remove. But for the most part, if you look, and I'll get to this right now, in fact, we can take a look at this. There are provision packages. Basically, if they're provisioned, you can remove them pretty easily, or if you've downloaded them. So in this case, let's find out what provision packages exist on Fry.
Okay, is that that's a different command that we just ran?
It is.
Okay.
I'll pull it up and show you. It is just git appx provisioned packages -online. And
Okay, so the thing I just want to make sure is this. It's okay to remove provisioned. You need to be kind of choosy about the other apps, the non-provisioned apps.
You need to be choosy about the provisioned apps and the regular apps.
Okay.
Because if they're installed, you can remove them usually. If they're provisioned, you can uninstall them, but you can't easily get them back.
Okay.
So
we got some information back on the ones we've run?
So this one, the provision packages, let's find out all of them. Here's the full output you would see if you normally run it, and it's a lot of information. So I kind of summed it up with just selecting the name of them. So you can see here that there's a list of all these apps that are provisioned for this image, for this installation of Windows. For those of you who have used DISM, the provision packages, it's the same terminology, it's the same thing. In fact, I believe this command is just kind of a wrapper for what DISM does. So here we can actually find, like, we had that Xbox app we had before, we had that People app we had. Those are provisions, so we could be safe to uninstall them. You don't see Cortana here, so don't uninstall Cortana.
Don't uninstall Cortana. All right.
So I hope that kind of answers a little bit your question. I'll show you exactly what uninstalling looks like. So here we actually have a list of all the apps that we just ran. So we can pick and choose. And you'll see the ones that we just had provisioned as well. We'll select the list here of easy to read. The name on the left, the full name on the right, just to show you. But so for example, on this list, which is much longer, also includes Cortana, which we just noticed wasn't in the provisioned list. So don't touch this.
Yeah.
Really only stick with the ones that are provisioned, and you'll have a good time. So
Less bad things will happen.
yeah, less prone to it. At
I
least.
just want to make sure, like, I can't say nothing bad will happen. Someone say less bad things will happen.
So
hit a question while you're pulling that up. Is it okay? Do we have time?
Sure.
All right.
Even if you can't remove Cortana, can you make it invisible to the user via PowerShell or GPO? Sincerely, Mary.
Hello,
Hell
Mary.
yes.
Yes, emphatic yes to both. As Brigg just showed on his example machine that he had set up, one had Cortana, one did not. You can disable that, and he has that GPO set up. You can do the same thing in PowerShell. Just it's just a registry key. And
Just remember, you're making it invisible.
Unvisible. Unvisible for everybody.
All right.
Everybody.
All right, so at this point, what are we going to do?
So here, like I showed before, I just want to show again that we have this app, Xbox. It is a trusted Windows Store app. I can open it up and do Xbox things like Xbox does. So
Xbox thing.
it's an Xbox thing.
It's an okay then.
Not Jersey. So in this case, I had this previously on installing weather. We're going to change this to be Xbox. I surround this with some asterisks there with my terrible highlighting. Those are wildcards because you saw that full name. It was kind of a bunch of garbage
Okay,
afterwards.
so you're going after the name there. Not
Correct.
The full
name.
Okay.
So I'm picking Xbox, which I'll actually pick a couple here, but that's okay. So we're going to deploy this now that we've saved it. If I can find Lily Mouse.
over there.
There you are. How am I not going over there? Interesting. All
There
right.
it is.
Yay, science. So we'll deploy this to Fry.
I was waiting for maths.
Good video, maths. Look around you.
Look it up on YouTube. Yeah, it's amazing.
So right now, Fry has Xbox. We saw that. Actually, let's go back to deploy here. It should really quickly remove this. So
Apparently, you didn't change the name of it.
no, it's just a
It's
get weather.
removing
Oh,
weather.
it failed. Wonderful. We love
Okay,
troubleshooting
once again,
live.
now this is how we troubleshoot, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's because it finds two apps. I apologize about this, because Xbox does find two. That was a bad example. And here, the command here is only removing for one. I'd have to wrap this up in an array and actually go through each of the results. But let's just change that to another one here, people, just real quick, rather than
Because
take
we got
time.
one there. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do that again. We'll redeploy. So, see, this is why you need to think about this before you start deploying these, because if there are multiple results that you get back, you need to wrap that and pipe
Take care
into
of
it.
each of them
Exactly,
individually.
exactly. Because this, you're basically saying, I found 2 results, but then squish them into a thing that only takes 1 result, and it's like, I don't know what to do. Successful, wonderful. So we can go back over to Fry, and I uninstalled the People app. So if we go over here and say People, that app that we showed before is gone.
Okay.
Magic.
Is there an easy? Do you have an easy way to do like both Xboxes now?
I do. In fact, I have this remove AppX package, multiple apps.
Yes.
Here I have Weather and Zune, but we can change that to Xbox. So if I found any hits, we'd be able to do that. Here I'm just building an array, and then I'm piping that array into the, hey, find this package and
Walk them
remove
through
it.
doing each of them
Yep.
individually. Okay.
So we can do that for Weather and Xbox. Weather's already gone, but we can do that again for Fry. And while this is going through, there's one thing I did want to show real quick.
Okay.
Is this is kind of we talked about last week being able to deploy these because each app is installed per user for the Windows Store apps. So if they're not logged on and you run this through deploy as a logged on user, you
It's
won't
only
get
going
everybody.
after the logged on users.
Exactly.
At this point. Okay.
So how do you do for all users? A couple different ways. You can do it as a scheduled task, and that can get as complicated as you like. I'm not going to go over that. I'm actually going to go over what the blog that Jordan wrote a few weeks ago, which is setting them up in the start folder for each user, because that's accessible. It's really accessible from PowerShell. So, oh, it failed. See, look at that. We're doing all this stuff live.
Troubleshooting again.
This guy, this is one of the apps that this is not one of the provision packages, so this one's going to fail.
So you got to go after the specific names.
Yeah,
now.
you might want to clarify that a little further. I'm just
Okay.
0 for 2 here. So
Hey, no, the good thing is, this is
you
what
might see
test
this.
and walk through. So
yeah,
at least you're seeing how
you'll
to
see
troubleshoot
this. If you try doing this for Cortana or anything, you'll see the same thing or a similar result.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do want to show that package. I actually have this script as one of the bonus contents. Please check it out, take a look at it, and use it. But essentially, I'll just quickly show you. I threw up a function that will create a startup script on the target machine. It wraps around. You can kind of feed it in a script block itself.
Okay, so you say you create it. Is it a scheduled task it's creating?
You can do it. You can do it
okay.
any way you want. It's actually going to put it in the startup folder.
Oh, okay, excellent. Okay.
But you can actually feed it in and tell it to use this file and put that in your startup folder to run, or run this script or this script code, script block, and put it in your startup folder to run. But the cool thing is because normally if you put PowerShell scripts in the startup folder to start when someone logs on,
Yeah.
the default handler for opening PowerShell files just opens them in Notepad. So it won't run. It'll just open up a Notepad.
There you go. Look at that.
So I have it kind of wrap around creating it a batch file in the startup folder, and then taking that PowerShell script that you want to run, taking that code, encoding it as base 64, because PowerShell.exe actually has a way to run encoded commands that way, so I can kind of bundle it all within itself. And so, okay.
So, Kris, I just want to say that translated in my mind to nerdy. So you got to read the content, guys, on that one.
Yep.
And it's pretty self-explanatory?
It is.
Okay.
You run it, you deploy it, you'll get this wonderful result, and it will end up creating this batch file in a startup
Destroy
folder.
apps.
And if you actually take a look at it, let's just edit it here, you'll see that it has this wonderfully cryptic text here. That's the base 64 encoded version of what I want to run, which uninstalls stuff, or anything for that matter. So,
Hey, Kris, we've got a question from Steven that I think is applicable to what you're talking about, having to wrap this in a batch file. Go ahead.
Let's see.
Dear Kris, specifically, if I wrote PowerShell scripts to remove the apps, but added them as startup scripts in Group Policy, would that make Kris and Brigg happy at the same time? Sincerely, Stephen V.
They can't hear you shaking your head, Brigg.
Brigg's shaking his head. I tend to agree with the GPO logon scripts, but let's hear why Brigg, GPO Master Grand.
Okay, so logon scripts, that's not really, they work sometimes, and sometimes they don't. As you've seen, GPOs can sometimes be a little finicky, and then a little require, yes, no.
Some massaging, yeah.
Startup scripts, yeah. The blog post that Jordan did, that's really going to be the best way, because that does everything. And I just want to say about the script that he just sort of went over, it is a thing of beauty. And since April 1st is tomorrow, right?
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, 2 days. You may want to consider looking at that script, and it's just in between the little hashtags. Go ahead and put this little something in there for your friends, because it's an excellent script. But yes, to answer your question, Stephen, not really happy if we do this.
No bueno on a GPO.
Yes. So throw it in the start folder. Bam.
Well, guys, hopefully that kind of got me further on along the GPO list and PowerShell, Kris. Anyways, so Nerd. That's all I can hear, man. So,
We need those shirts, man.
anywho, appreciate you guys watching.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
And catch y'all later.
Happy PowerShelling.
Bye.
Happy PowerShelling.
Thanks for joining the webcast today. Big congratulations going out to Mary M. and Jorlando D., winners of brand new PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit up our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.